Okay, so I gave you an assignment. None of you submitted. All right, problem. So right now we're talking about DAX. So let me open our previous dashboard so that we'll just be making use of our previous dashboard instead of repeating. Let me just open our previous dashboard. So this time around we'll be talking about DAX. What do we mean by DAX? Is data analysis expressions. It is a formula language used in Power BI which allows you to create calculated columns, like I explained yesterday, to define measures, to build calculated tables, and perform time intelligence, filtering, and aggregations. How do you do this? You go to your modeling tab, you select new column, new measures, or new table, anyone. We're still going to get it. We're still going to, okay, let me just show you. It's loading. Okay, so while our Power BI loads, let's proceed. The next one is, what are the DAX functions we have? We have different functions. We have the one for, DAX function, like I told you, just like a formula. You understand? A formula language, just like a code that you write. Let's say, for example, to get, like, we have different functions. We have sum, average, max, count, count all, count A, and so on and so forth. So right now we have sum. How do you do sum? Sum is for adding. You all know that average, max, count, count A, if, and switch. All those things are the different functions we have. So let's say, for example, to create a measure to calculate total revenue. As you all know, it's just the total revenue equals to the sum. These financials you are saying means what? This is it means the table name. Why this is the column we are running calculations on. So you can see calculated is very, very important for us. So, like yesterday that we were actually doing that, we did our cards. So, our cards that we did yesterday, we make use of what's it called? The normal, data. But this time around, we'll be using DAX. To bring in our cards and to run all those calculations for a particular firm. And normally, all these are KPIs in there. You need a profit margin, to display. You want to display a profit margin. So this is how to run your profit margin, to be divide, in brackets sum, in brackets your financials, profits, then comma. Comma is what you're using separating denominator and numerator. Then you have your sum, financials, and sales. You already know financials is a table. This is your column. These are your columns, and you have 0. So that is profit margin calculation. Then also, this is sales by country. This is, you want to run a filtered, what's it called? To only filter out USA sales alone. You just want to bring out USA sales alone. This is the formula to use. Same thing, probably to calculate total sales only for the USA. This is it. Now, the next one is now the KPI. KPI is a key performance indicator. KPI is the visual, DAX is the measure. KPI is the visual, DAX is the measure. Now, KPI is a visual that shows the current performance versus a goal of previous, period, often with current value revenue, target comparison, last year revenue indicator trend, all those kind of things. So we use our KPIs, to show current performance versus probably a goal that you're working on. We're going to see KPI in our, our chart style. So then we have select KPI. How do you bring in your KPI? Select KPI visuals from the visualization pan, indicator, column to indicate. Now, note something. When, like I told you, running trend line, time series, you make use of your dates table. Then you have a target. And how do you create target? You use your DAX to create a target. We're going to run the KPIs one. So now let's go to the business of it. So let's just continue with this. We'll be done with Power BI today. Then I want you to note something. Power BI, creativity is not about, we might not be able to, we are using financial data. There are so many data sets you might use. So that is why it's all about you, doing a lot of trainings yourself, putting in a lot of, doing a lot of practice. That's the only way you can be creative in Power BI. These are just my own design. You can come up with more creativity that is actually more good than mine. So the major thing is just, it all takes practice. The more you practice, the more you learn more. At least I've shown you things needed, but the more you practice, the more you learn more. It's going to help you a lot. So let's quickly run our DAX. Let's use our DAX. Let's say, for example, this total sales. Instead of we having total sales as our table, we add it as like our table. Then we need to create a measures, a DAX that shows a calculated column. Instead of we having it in column like this, we just want to have a separate column that shows the calculation. Instead of we having it this way. So what do we do? How do we bring it in? You come to your you click out. You come to your modeling. Under your modeling, you will see measures. You can see write a DAX expression. This is it. You click on it. So now let's say, for example, we want to get our total sales. It's going to load something. You can see the measure. You can see this is what it will bring out. So you will just erase this. So when you erase this, let's say, for example, I want to get total sales as noted there. Let's say total sales. Total sales. I want to get total sales. What do we do? You already know your formula. Total sales equal to, what am I doing? That will be sum. You put your sum in bracket. It has already brought out the different columns and the table. I told you while I was explaining in the slides. The first one is your table name. The second one is your column. What are we working on? On sales. This is it. You look for, after saying open bracket, you look for financial data sales. You can see. You close your brackets and you press enter. Now check this side. You will see what will happen there. You can see a measure is created already. Good. You can see the measure. This is it. Total sales. So now so I've created the measures. So you can close this. Now this is the measure. It will show like a calculator. When you see a calculator, it means measures. So if I want to, now let me remove this now. I want to remove this total sales that is here. And I want to bring in, so if I drag my measures inside, it will give me the total sales, everything. You can see that is measures. So let's say I want to create measures for this also. So it is always easier for you. That is, when you have your columns like this, create measures of all the calculations you want to run, everything you want to do, create measures for it. If it is a target, you want to have a target value, create measures for it so that you can have it, stated. So that is how you run your measure. So let's say we want to do for unit sold also. To run for unit sold model, I click on my measures. What am I working on? It's loading. Let's leave it. Okay, good. It's loading. Good. So erase this and put in what you want to run. Unit sold. Unit sold. Unit sold equal to, what is the unit sold you are working on? You are using your sum also. It is sum. So you can run any calculations you want to run, profit margins. So we are going to run profit margins here so that we can see the profit margins also. So we have sum, which is our financials. What are we working on? Unit sold. Where is it? Sales price, sales. We have cost of goods sold. We have discount. We have product. We have manufacturing price, gross sales. Where's our unit sold? Okay. Do we have our unit sold here? I think we should. Okay, unit sold is there now. So let's say I can't find my unit sold here, but let me type it out. Financials. I want to type it out. Then in brackets, I open a bracket like this, and I have my unit sold. You can see. If I did not type it out, it won't bring it. So that's why you need to know what you want to do. Close brackets, press enter. It will load it out. The name unit sold, okay, is already in use. The reason is that there's a name here, unit sold. So that's why you can name yours as total unit sold. we have it as total units sold. So automatically to get, we've done that. You can see it has been added. So I can decide to take this off and use my measures as my calculations. Okay, sorry. It's easier for you in the sense that, let's say, for example, you are working on it onto something. You are working on probably a particular thing. Probably okay. Let's run for profit margin. Let's check our profit margin. We're going to do for our profit margin now. You can see our profit margin. We have profit margin. This is the formula. Let me just copy it to, instead of it getting deleted. So let's say we want to run our profit margin now. I'll click on my same modeling. Let me get this off. So we want to bring in our profit margin here now. So I have this, you bring this in. So use KPI to display our profit margin now so that we can see. It's loading, just wait for it to load. Okay, good. Load. We are waiting for it to load. It's going to load something out, so that's what I'm trying to hold on for. I don't know why it's not loading that stuff out. Okay, let me just bring it again. I want to take this off, delete from model. I'm trying to delete it off so that we can bring another one. Okay. Just hold on. Good. So we have our modeling, we have new measure. Why is it not displaying? I don't know what's going on. Why is it not displaying our measures out? So I don't know why it's not displaying our measures out. It's supposed to display our measures out. So I'm trying to get what's wrong. So we can see what's actually going on here. See what's going on. Yeah. Probably it's because we should have probably created this before now. But don't worry, we'll get it right. Hold on, I'm trying to get this off so that we can delete from model. It's supposed to bring out like our what's it called? Like our formula bar where we can insert our code. That's what I'm trying to bring out here. that's what I'm trying to bring out. So I don't know why it's not displaying that. I don't know why it's not displaying that. It's supposed to bring it down here. So that's what I'm trying to see what's going on. And I need to bring it for our profit margin so we can see how profit margin looks like. Okay, probably we should just let's have it here. Let's have it here. Let's have it here. So profit margin you don't want to be also. We are going to break it. Okay, new measure. Because I don't know what's going on. I want to see it in my page one. Let's see. It's supposed to display my it's supposed to display where we're going to insert our what's it called. Well, let's see whether we can bring it in here. This is select run model. Let's see whether we can bring it in here. Profit margin percentage. Control X. Hold on, we're just trying to get this right. It's supposed to display something down here that we can like the way we did this too. So I don't know what is happening. Why is not bringing it down? I don't know why it's not bringing it down. So that's actually what we are trying to get out. What's going on? Probably I should open. Okay, this is what will happen. If I should say I should open another new, we need need to start inserting, start cleaning again. But what I'm trying to bring out there is majorly, I just want to run the way I did for, where I did, the way I did for these totals. I just want to bring out profit margin so that we can see how profit margin works. But let me see whether I can edit one of these so we can, even this, they are not displaying again. So that's one thing about Power BI. Sometimes it gets seized and, sometimes it gets seized. Let's hold on. Okay, you know what? You can try it because of our time, so I won't waste time. You can try it from your own end. You understand? This is the formula for profit margin. You can try it from your own end when you're doing your project. Bring out your profit margin in your measure. Bring out a DAX for profit margin. Let's see the profit margin there. So you can try it. I don't want to restart again and we having, because I will need to close this, bring it in again, bring all this back. So we'll just note that so that when you are doing yours, we can bring a profit margin box. And if you're having difficulty, always reach out so that I can help you out. Okay, so now we've done our, what's it called? Bringing our KPI, we've done our, our, what's it called, our DAX. Now the major thing is now your KPI, like I explained to you, which is your visual. So how do you bring in your KPI? That's what we want to do. I want to delete this up. Okay. I think we are good to go. So now how do you bring in your KPI now? Now let's say we want to bring in our KPI now. We come to our visualization pan. You can see under visualization pan, you have your card, you have your multi-row card, you have your KPI. This is your KPI. So if I click on my KPI now, you can see my KPI. This is my KPI based on what I explained to you. Now, I said it is what shows the current performance versus a goal. Now, let's say, for example, we're having a target. And let's say our target is, let's see whether it's going to bring it out. Normally, I didn't this thing is doing, it would have been easier for me to just write out my target so that you can see. So that you can see my target. But let's just do something. Don't worry. Let's do something. So now we have KPI and we have three things. We have this indicator, that is the column to indicate or column that you want to display. Then you have the trend axis that you want to follow. Now, this is value. What do you want to bring up here for your KPI? What do you want to show? What do you want to show? What do you want to display? I don't mean we are working on a profit margin. It will be easier for us to just show, okay, we want to show our profit margin. Or let's say we want to show our profit trend lines. Let's bring in that. So I can just drag my profit to my value. You can see that is for that. Now, trend axis. What is your trend axis? Date is what you use for your trend axis. You don't use anything aside dates. This is the date. You can see that's why it's displaying this format. That is your trend axis. So I can decide to, click on date hierarchy to display only year. You can see it's displaying year. That's the reason why I click on. The reason is that the hierarchy there is year, which means, here we have 2019 down to 2025. That's the hierarchy it follows. And you can see here, that's the same thing here. So the target, let's say I'm having a target now. How do you bring in your target? The same formula, using your modeling, and you create a DAX expression. But I don't know why this thing is giving me issues like this. So to just be easy, I didn't mean to display the stuff for us. I would have created a target. So in that target, it will be easier for you to, in your target, it will be easier for you to just what? To write out what target do you want? What are you working on? That is your target. So it will be easier for you to just write out, your target, what you want your target to be. Let's say, for example, if my target is 160 million, I will write it 160 million as my target. Do you understand what I'm saying? I would have created a measure that displays 150 million as my target. So in that measure, it would have been easier for me. I would just drag it down. So me dragging it down would have probably shown, but let's run a quick measure. If I run a quick measure, select the calculation. What calculation do you want to use? Let's say we want to use year-to-date total. Should we use year-to-date total? I'm just using this as an example. Let's say year-to-date total. Now, what is the base value? This is quick measure. Instead of me using that formula, probably I want to use a quick measure. I want to use year-to-date total. So what am I using? The data I want to use, the base value and the date. I'm using I want to use the one that is more than my profit, so that I want to show you how it will display. Let's say I'm using my sales as my base value, and my dates, I'm using my dates. I'm using my dates, dragged, add data. So I'm using my dates. If I click on add now, this is just quick measure. So if I click on add now, it will create it. You can see it has created sales year to date. So if I want to use sales year to date as my target, I'll just drag sales year to date inside my target. You can see it's showing red because the goal is that 385.53 million is the goal, but I'm on 157.35 million. So that is why it's showing red. Do you understand? If it is less than, it will show green. How do you set that? You can also set that yourself by coming to your visual format visuals here, and you can see call out value, icons, trend axis. So if I come to my target label now, I can come to my target label and now edit the goal, distance to goal. This distance to goal that is displaying, what did I want? Increasing is positive, which means if this thing increase, the goal is 385 and I'm on 157, so it will surely show red. But if the goal is 150 and I'm on 157, it should display green. So this is where the editing comes in. You can see this is where the editing. So if you want to edit the same thing, if I want to show the date, the current date, it has showed the 2025, but I don't need the current date. I just want it to, if I don't want it to show the goal also, I can off the goal. What's it called? The distance to goal. I can off the target label. You can see the target label is off. I've off it. If I don't want it to show the trend axis, I can off that also. So that is how, if I don't want the icon, I can off the icon. So that is actually how you bring in your KPI, so that they can actually see anybody you're displaying to will see that, okay, they've not actually met the targets. Let me display the target. That is, they've not actually met, so the goal is 385.53 million. So they will know that, oh, we've not reached up to the target. So that is why we said in the definition that is what? It shows the current performance versus a goal or previous period, often with probably what you are working on. So this is the current performance, 157, and the goal is 385. I just need to use the year to date. On a normal level, if you have a particular goal, or probably the person you're working for has a particular goal or target they want to check whether they've met or they've not, then you bring in this. And KPIs are necessary when we are talking about data set. When we're talking about financial data and the like, it is very, very important you should display your KPIs so that they can actually see, they can know, oh, they are not stuck. This one is just like a goal to let them know, are they up to that goal? Have they met that task? Are they up to task? What do they need to do again? Then you now start giving them what they need to do. So that is just, about the, the KPIs and the visuals. So you can also be creative enough to bring in a lot of things for your, there are a lot of things you can bring out. You can bring out. So, but one thing is that it is better for you to, keep practicing. When you practice, the more, when you go online and you see some, and you see some dashboard that you like, implement it. Try to, replicate that same thing. When you don't understand that thing, reach out to me so that I can help you. This is just a data set I have at hand that we are working on. Do you understand? So it will really help you. It will really help you to, to work on, a lot of things and to gain more experience. Do you understand? So we have different ways to display your data set, different ways to make use of your card. Instead of you having these cards this way, there are so many ways we can have another card that will show the trend line and will also show this. So there are so many ways we can have that. So let's say I want to bring in this. If I want to even bring in this, probably I want to bring in another thing inside here. There's a way I can bring it in. But, I don't want to bombard you with a lot of things. But I just want you to keep practicing. The more you practice, the more you understand a lot of things you need to bring in, a lot of displays, a lot of, arrangements, a lot of designing, how you want it to do. But like I told you, dashboard is not all about the designing. No, it's all about what are you passing across. How interactive is your dashboard? Is it a dashboard that is not interactive? Do you have a filter pan in your dashboard and the likes? Then another thing I want to bring in here is what we call the slicer and timeline. That is what we want to do now. Then probably we can call it a day. So you can have a slicer, you can have a timeline also. You can bring that also here. You can bring your slicer, your timeline, you can bring everything here also. So how do you, I think I explained the timeline and the and the slicer for us in our our Excel. Now this is your slicer. You can see your slicer here. This is your slicer. This is it. So if I want to bring in my slicer, you know the function of the slicer. You forgotten anymore? So that is just, so if I want to bring in my slicer in here now, I'll bring in my slicer. What kind of slicer do I want to use? I want to use segments. If I want to use segments or country, depending on your choice, I want to use segments so that I can see enterprise segments. I want to see the profit in enterprise segments, the sales in enterprise segment, anyhow you want it. So I've clicked on my slider, it's asking me the field I want. I'm using segments. You drag that field here. You can see. I don't want it to display this way. You can come to your visuals and see your slicer settings. The style, I want it to be drop down. You can see this is drop down, whereby they can select different format. I want it to be tile. This is style. Do you see? This is style, whereby they can also, select and pick. You can see this is anyhow you want it, depending on your choice. If you want drop down, if you want it to, you can just bring it somewhere. Where can we bring it? You can just arrange it anywhere you want to arrange it. You can arrange it here. Let me display some things for you so that I can explain it through that way. I want to show you different dashboard and I can explain. Okay, Pinterest. I can explain where they use slicers, where they use KPIs, to be easier for you that way. Okay, good. Let me see this. Is this one complete? They don't have everything. I'm trying to bring in a dashboard. Slicer is not here. Okay, let me just search Power BI dashboard. So that I can use that to easily explain. But in your projects, I gave you a project to work on, not financial alone. You should work on another data set that is not financials. So with that, you'll be able to implement different things. Okay, good. I think I can see slides. Now you can see this now. You see they have products. Rocky Bat in Bidon. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can see this. They have products here. You can see this design. This product you are seeing, they use slicer. This is slicer, 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 slicer. You can see this. So that is actually what they use. This is slicer, slicer. So that is what they use here. So you can see that is what they use here. So you just need to understand where and where you need to bring in your slicers, where and where you need to bring. So if I don't want to use segments now and I want to use my dates, I can drag my dates. And I want to filter based on dates. Shall you say? So if I feel like, okay, I want to filter based on my dates, we have the styles that I want to use. If I want to use drop down, I want to use before and after, I want to use between. Now you can see what they use here. This one, this is it, between. That is what they use here. Which means I just want to show, I want it to display, you want to, probably the person told you, let's see 2020, let's see probably from 2020, probably your investor told you, let's see from 2020 to 2021. You are told to show the displays to show what's it called, the dashboard between 2020 and 2021. So you make use of your dates, and here you change your date format to where you want it. So I have, let's say 2020. What date exactly in 2020? Let's say from January 2020. I'm using January 2020. Where is that date? Probably January 1, 2020. Down to, you see, you can see something. Something is changing here. It's interacting. I want to check. They told you to display dashboard from 2020 down to 2021. So it will be easier for you if you use this. So that instead of you changing your stuff again, Slicer will just help you. It will easily help you to filter your work. it will easily help you to filter your work. So they said display 2020 down to 2021, December 2021, December 31st. So you can see everything changed. So which means I've shown them. So it will be easier for you to explain to them, oh, this is what I used. This is this, this is that. Unlike you just shaking and you don't know what you want to bring in. So if I want to bring in, I want to add it to I can add it there, anywhere I want to put it. But I'm just using this to explain. I didn't mean I want to add it before. I would have changed the way I want my dashboard to display. So I'm just using it to explain to you. You can see. So I can decide to drag it back and fill in from beginning down to the end. You can see. So you observe that as I'm changing, this thing is interacting. It is changing based on that duration. So that is the work of slicer. It helps you in filtering your work. So that is what they use here. They use slicers here. That is what they use here. Now, this particular thing, whereby if they click on summary, they click on segment, they click on region, it will take them to another thing. They use what we call bookmark. Bookmark is actually what they use there. Bookmark is what they use. I'm looking for a KPI. You can see all these things where they have 314, 519, and all those things. They use KPI. All these pictures you are seeing beside it, they inserted those pictures. All these pictures, all these things. It was inserted. You can download those pictures and bring. That's why I said dashboard is all about creativity. It's all about creativity. That is just dashboard. You just need to be creative enough. Now let me show you this one also. You can see this one. They have John Donne. All these things are images. They inserted it. You understand? They are images. Now this one now they use bookmark. That is why it will change. If I click on dashboard, it will display. If I click on inventory, it will display another thing. They use bookmark and they were so creative about it. So you just need to be creative when designing. Sure, you understand? Let me show you one project now whereby I use bookmark so that you can understand how those projects, how they are. It's someone's project. So I just want to show you so that you can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me just show you this project so that you can see what I'm talking about. So it's just you being creative. So if you are creative enough, it will really help you. You know, being creative, it will help you, your work, you yourself, you will enjoy your work. But if you are lazy, you can't be creative. That's one thing about Power BI. I want to show you this dashboard. So that's why please take your time to do your assignment. That's why I will give you a long time so that you can take your time, be creative enough. Don't stress yourself. If you can't finish probably the first day you started, you can continue the next day. That's what you're saving. So take your time to be creative. I want you to be creative. Come up with a very good design. Do you understand? If you don't understand, if something is not clear, you can reach out to me. I'll put you through to help you in creating what you want to replicate. So let's wait for this to load. You know, we are almost done. We are done with Power BI. I'm just trying to explain so many things you need to understand. So now let's wait for this. Few minutes, let it load. Now in this data set, in this what's it called, dashboard, you observe that I'm having two tables. In this kind of tables, this is where we introduce what we call modeling. You know, I was explaining modeling to you yesterday, and I said we have one to many and we have many to many. So you just need to understand. The reason is that we're having two tables. I need to create a calculated table here. Now, if you check my model here, yeah, you can see my model. This is what I use. I use one to many. You can see my model. So this is actually what I use. This is how to create your model. You come here. It's because I'm having two tables. You know, yesterday when I was explaining, I said it was because it's one. So here, if I want to create new relationship, I'll just click on new relationship. From table, which table am I working on? Let's say I want to create a model. Now, this is how to create models. That is, as I was explaining to you, you want to relate two tables together so that they can know they are together. So let's say, for example, I'm working on dimension dates. It will ask you, where exactly do you want to join? If I want to join this part alone, I'll click on this part alone. Now, to which table? Super sales claim. Which part am I joining together? For example, now, dates here. Do we have dates here? No. So what is similar here is I want to add the date probably to this part. The whole, what's it called? which part exactly did I want to work it on? I will just check. Okay, there's dates here. Thank God. You can see there's dates here. So which means I'm joining the date of dimension date with this date. So anything that is happening in this date automatically reflects here. So that is the meaning of, you are doing your model. So after that, you can see cardinality is what? Many to one. Single. The reason why it's not displayed is because it's already there. So it's not, it's not showing that stuff. But if I'm using months, you can see. The reason is that I've created the models already. So that's why it's not displayed. But I'm using months now, another table line. So let's say let me see something here that is the same. Do you have a separate month here? No, there's no separate month. Okay, don't worry. Let me just use this to explain. So now you can see we have many to many. We have one to many. One to many means one column to many tables. You understand? But many to many means I'm using many of these in this part. So, but majorly we are all familiar with one to many. That is what everybody are so familiar. That is, I'm using, let's say for example, a date for the whole supermarket sales. That's one particular column for the whole. I want it to affect the whole. I think that's just the easy way I can explain to you. So that is a one to many and many to many. So we are just using this date part, which is many to one or one to many, how you want to put it. Then you click on your save. So automatically, it will create a table like this for you. That's why you can see the relationship. You can see it has joined both together. That's model. You understand? So now you can see this data, what's it called? This dashboard created. It's actually someone's project. You can see this. These are images. These are what? All these things are what? Slicer. Now, another thing I want you to understand is what we call bookmark. If I click on customer and payments, it will be different. Control and customer and payments. See what happened. You can see. You see it's different from the product and profitability. That was what they did here. So which means if they click on inventory, it will give them different. If they click on orders, it will give them different dashboard. They make use of what we call bookmark. So which means if I press my control and hold product and profitability, it will display the dashboard of product and profitability. You can see. Is the help of what? Bookmark. How do we bring in our bookmark? Is the help of bookmark. That is how this thing was actually what? Created. That is how it was created. So which means your bookmark. So which means this is it. When you click on your insert, then you click on this part, this first part, you can see we have navigation, page navigation, bookmark navigation. So I use page. So when you click on your page navigation, which means I want it to be what? If I click on this, it will take me to another page. So if I click on page navigation, you can see it has displayed something like this. So that is page navigation. It will be navigating from product dashboard to customer. Automatically, it will display that. But if I don't want that, and I want to display, I want this to be a button. You understand? Automatically it created that for me. That is, and that was what they actually did there. Which means you will first of all create your dashboard. Then when you now come to your bookmark, your what's it called here, under your insert, if you click on your navigation and click on page navigation, automatically it will display every dashboard you have here. So you can now arrange it how you want it, effects, how you want it to look like. So, but that was not actually what I used. What I used is what I call button. I created this first, then I come to my insert and click here. You understand? And what I did is that I created my blank. You can see this blank. This is it. Then I brought in something inside. Then I click on my actions. In my actions, I'll come here and say, when I click on it, it will take me to where? That is it. So that is, when I click on it, it should take me to what? Page navigation. So from there, destination is where? Where did I want it to go? Customers and payments. You click on it. But when you do more work, it will be easier for you to understand. So then I come to my general, I click on my title, and I inserted title for it, what I want it to show. You can see it's displaying there. So that is just all about, page navigations, how they came across those things. You just need to practice. The more you practice, the more you understand all those things. So you can see, you can repeat this. What did they do? This search of a thing, they just inserted it. It's just an insert. They inserted it. So these are things you can do. So there's no dashboard you can do now. There's no dashboard you can repeat, that you can try again, you can do on your own. It's just you practicing. Like I said, you keep practicing. The more you practice, the more you understand things. You can see these are KPI dashboard that shows interactions, that shows that indicates a particular thing. So with this, I believe we've come to the end of Power BI. So this is just my own. You can say so you can come up with your own also. You know, practice more. Keep, like I told you, keep practicing. Keep practicing. When you practice more, it's going to help you a lot. So let me remove this. Good. So with this now, I believe you can design any dashboard. It's not necessary you follow the same pattern. You can use another different patterns. And with this, you are good to go. You are good to go. So after this, our next class, which is the last thing, which is our SQL, structure query language. That's what we're doing in our next class, SQL, structure query language. So your project, this is your project. Using financial data set and any other data set, that is, you are using two data sets, financial data sets and any other data set. Create 6 objectives. Create a dashboard for the visuals and create up to 3 DAX or KPI and add up to your dashboards. Note, the total dashboard you'll be creating will be what? 2. Submission date next week, Wednesday. So you have a long time to take, to prepare and finish up your work. So make sure you submit next week, Wednesday. So by Thursday, we'll move into our SQL on Thursday. So when you submit on Wednesday, or not before Wednesday, I'll go through it on Wednesday, or not before. If you submit on Monday, I'll mark it, call you, and tell you the correction. It's always good when you submit early, so that when I tell you corrections, you will do it and send it. So finish up your project. This is your project on dashboard. So which means you are submitting 3 things for me. The assignment I gave you yesterday and these 2 projects. So is there any question? Is there any question?
No, sir.